what Israel is about and what is going on in this world. And but for what happened this week, it would be a very different world. By Donald Trump pulling out of the Iran deal while you were here, which is so incredible.
Oh, that's reason not with.
I got it.
Bang. Okay. When he pulled out of that deal, what he did was signal even more than the naming of Jerusalem. And I don't like picking one over the other. But the truth is, it was the United States saying, we will stand against the world. France, Britain, Germany, Iran, all of you, to stand shoulder to shoulder with Israel. And that was huge. And as is consistent with everything that's happened from the time Israel became a country, they have been superior to their neighbors in terms of their military might, their ability, their technology, their medicine. But the '67 war, in 6 days, so shocked the Arab world. And they then decided that they were going to move those lines, and they have since that time been in control of the city of Jerusalem. The president today, by opening the embassy, did what was already a reality in most people's minds, and that is that he made Jerusalem the capital of Israel. There was a lot of talk about how historically Jerusalem has always been the capital of Israel. I don't know enough to be able to tell you about it. I can't repeat it. I read it 98 times. I can't remember it. But here's the thing. For 3,000 years, Jerusalem has been the capital of Israel. And it was the Persian King Cyrus who said that Jerusalem was the capital of Israel. And if the Iranians look at their, take any lessons from history, Persia was the genesis of today's Iran. And so they should know that it's in their own history that Jerusalem is the head of the Jewish state, the Jewish nation, the Jewish claim. When we went through this week, I talked to a lot of people about Palestine. And they tried to tell me that the Palestinians didn't really have any kind of root. They just kind of were there and were moved from one country to another, kind of took on allegiance to whatever country would take them in, and then they ended up being the people that none of the Arab nations would take in. And the Palestinians are the ones who are benefiting by Israel being the neighbor. They have jobs, they get medical care, they get all kinds of humanitarian treatment because of Israel. So when you go back to the States, here's what I want you to remember. That the Israel that you saw are people who are hardworking people who are fighting and willing to fight with everything they've got, willing to put their kids at the age of 17 into the Israeli Defense Force, male and female, proud of it. They all know how to carry an AR-15, and it is the military is a family business in Israel. Unlike the United States, where it's like just a couple of percent and everybody's like, I don't know anybody in the military. In Israel, it is part of the culture of the nation. And it speaks to the moral core of those individuals, that they care about their country enough to put their kids' lives on the line every day. If only our kids could understand that kind of responsibility at the age of 17. What? And finally, I just want to say, as Anthony said, I did interview Netanyahu. And it was a wonderful day. He had just finished speaking with a number of senators and congressmen. And I got the ability to sit down with him, and they told me 7 minutes. And to me, that's good. That's a segment or two. So I sat down with him, and he's chatting. He's just chatting. And I'm I'm like, we have to hurry up. They're going to kill me. And he was gracious. He was happy. He was absolutely ecstatic with the day. He spoke for a good 20 minutes. And his staff person was behind me, Tom. I didn't see her, but I saw the cameraman going like this to me. You know, and then going like this to me. So I knew she must have been doing jumping jacks or something behind me. He was so clear in his appreciation of the United States to President Trump. We've given them, you know, a whiff of freedom that they haven't smelled in a long time. And I asked him if he expects certain repercussions, and he said yes. And I asked him about why the Jews end up being, you know, victimized so often. Why do people want to exterminate the Jews? Why the Holocaust? Why all that? Did he answer it?
He did.
What did he say?
He did answer that. He pretty much said, though, that it wasn't because they were Jewish.
Yeah.
It wasn't because they were Jewish, but that they were pushed around a little bit. My take, though, when I was hoping he would, I feel that the world is jealous of the Jewish people, especially back, you know, under the days of Hitler. The Jewish people were the business people. They were successful, and the Germans were not, and the economy was very bad. And I was hoping he would tell me, which I think he knows in his heart because I've had a conversation with him, that people are jealous of the Jewish people. They're jealous of their brains and their well-being. And you want to reaching for the mic.
What he said was that there are a lot of people who have been destroyed, who are gone. The way he looked at it was in a positive way. He said the Jewish people always come back. And, you know, I thought that that was a very positive, optimistic approach to the situation that he was in. But finally, and I'm going to end here, I mean, for me, it was thrilling to be at the embassy. It was wonderful. It was the electricity, all of the people were there. From Mark Levin was there, and I spoke to him, and Ted Cruz, and Lindsey Graham, and Ron DeSantis, and Joe Wilson, and Sheldon Adelson. Who else was there? Pastor Jeffries, yeah, John Hagee. Rick Scott spoke to the governor. They were all here, and Ivanka and Jared. Jared spoke. He did a great job.
Great job.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job, and all in all, it was just a happy day. What we want when you go home is to simply remember that the state of Israel is only 70 years old, that they have gone through so much and they've given up so much to make sure that their country survives. And now you have the knowledge, now you have the understanding of what this nation is all about. It's about freedom and democracy in a world that is surrounded by people who kill women, who have affairs, who throw gays off of buildings, who until a couple months ago didn't think women should drive. They're surrounded by people who think they're infidels and by people who want to kill them. And you've got to remember that, and the way to remember it is, and I said this yesterday, was in the 2018 and the 2020 elections. It is good people like you who now understand the difference between right and wrong and what's going on in the Middle East. You have to stand up and continue the fight. So, I'll take some questions, and then we'll go.
I've been saving this question for the whole trip. When are you and Sean Handy going to start your own broadcast network?
Do you have any idea what that would cost?
Yeah,
And you know what? I'll tell you, I spoke to Sean this week when I was here, and I said, how are you? He said, I'm exhausted. I said, you have to be exhausted. It's like day and night. The news never stops. I have a good situation. I'm on one day a week. I do speeches, by the way, around the country. I'm usually on an airplane somewhere, at least once a week. And I get to go to Washington a lot, and I get to do my show. So, and then I get to go to Florida with Anthony, so all is well. So, but I'll tell Sean that you love him. Yes.
So, Jeanine, my name's Ari Fuld. I'm a 23-year veteran and current IDF soldier. Born and raised in America. I'm living here for 26 years. I am emotionally moved by this. This whole group here, for me, is unbelievable. My grandparents who survived the Holocaust, who were thrown out of their homes, people did nothing. Nothing. I'm looking around here and I'm listening to you and I'm listening to the speakers here. I'm moved beyond words. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
The Americans are the generous, charitable people in the world. And in spite of what you may be hearing from the Main Street media, these people are part of the heartland of America. They're the ones who care. They're the ones who give back. They're the ones who are going to be on the front lines in 2018 and 2020. So you have good instincts. Yes, Doctor.
Another proposal for thought about why we choose to so hate it and people are trying to get rid of us. Hashem promised he would preserve us to the end of time. Shaitan can wipe us out and make Hashem alive. Just a thought.
It's a good thought. Next. Yes. Hi.
We heard a rumor that you had an issue when you were leaving the embassy today. Is there any truth to that, or is that fake news?
At the embassy?
Yeah.
None of us saw.
Oh, we didn't have a ride?
No, it wasn't that. It was afterward. Did you see any protesters, or was
No.
We
Nothing.
And there was fake news about it.
Not me.
I was there.
About me, my name?
From whom?
What was it?
What was it on?
There was a protest.
I was at the protests, but they were over. The protests were over the mountains. I was there.
Really?
There
They
was-
didn't dare come near me.
No.
They saw these wings.
In fact,
Like an angel, man.
the protest, the IDF arrested 2 terrorists at the protest themselves who were from the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas, and they're protesting the embassy. But it was far away from the embassy.
Hi.
It has recently been reported, as I was getting ready, that Iran says that they will continue with the deal if the other 4 nations, honor the agreement.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to do it.
That's
You know why? Because they're going to continue with uranium enrichment and increasing the centrifuges and working toward a nuclear weapon, or creating your Molly 99 for your nuclear medicine. Here's the problem. I don't understand it. It's more big picture than I can comprehend. But there's a reason that the UK, Germany, France, Italy, there's a reason that they're all doing it. But Donald Trump will be true to his word, I predict. He is going to impose sanctions on countries that do business with Iran. And just like he made that little rocket man buckle, he's going to make the EU buckle.
Good.
But of course they're going to keep doing it. They're making a bomb. Yes. Hi.
Hey, question, this might not be something you want to answer in a group, but are they getting to him? Or
Who?
is he Donald Trump? Or is he on a personal level, you know him as on a personal level, is all of this getting to him?
You mean does it bother him?
And I know it has to bother him, but is he willing to stick this out through the 2020 election and do another 4 years? Is he strong? Is his resolve strong, or is it wearing his family down? Do they have?
That's an interesting
do they have the resolve
question.
to
Yeah. In other words, look, Donald Trump is a force of nature. Donald Trump is like a flame. He just gets hotter and hotter. That is the man. I think I've said it before. He goes into a lion's den and comes out the winner. Donald Trump, if anything, it motivates him. He loves to fight. He's a fighter. Now, it bothers him about his kids, I'll tell you that. He and I have spoken about that. But when I had lunch with Ivanka and Jared, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, I said to them, because I'm writing this book, Liars, Leakers, Liberals, coming out in July now, I said, does it bother you? And they were so credible when they said, you know what? There are things that go on. But we made a decision when we decided to move from New York to Washington and move our kids and everything else, that this was such a short period of time for us to sacrifice, that when we look back on our lives, it will be, you know, almost a blip on the screen of our lives.
That's right.
And if we can make a difference, it's worth it.
Yes.
And then they went on to say, and the kids love it here in D.C., they have a backyard. In Manhattan, they never had a backyard. You know, and so they're good. Eric is good. Donald Jr. is good. And, you know, I think that I can't speak for any, you know, for Melania. But what I do know about Melania is she is very strong. She doesn't let anybody throw her. So you've got, amazingly, a family that can deal with this. You know, I just think he says to me, when we talk, he'll say, I'm doing so many great things. You know, do people realize it? He say, I know you're doing so many great things. And sometimes I say, I'm glad the press is focused on something else. He can just keep moving on his track.
That's right.
Well, they're over here with this Russian delusion. He'll keep moving on his track and getting things done. Yes.
Mine's not really a question. I just want to thank you for being here. You have been amazingly welcoming and gracious, and I don't know how you do it. I really don't. Thank you so much. And thanks to Tom, and Ronnie, and all the people that have made this possible. It's just been an incredible experience for me.
Well, you know why it's an incredible experience? Because everybody was able to meld with each other. It was great. It was like that book. Well, I couldn't get them to scan it and email it. And then we got a whole bunch of us and just did it in like an hour. Everybody was warm and caring about each other. You know what, Ronnie? It was a good framework, a good context within which people could learn, get along, and enjoy the trip of a lifetime. And there are a couple people I have to have them stand up. I think it was Paul and Angie celebrating their 10-year anniversary. This is their celebration. Angie, stand up. They said instead of having a party, they decided to come here.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
There's also Steve and Donna, 35 years.
Recording.
You have 10 kids?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, where's the other one with 11 kids?
Shepherd's house.
What's with you guys? You have 10 kids. Wow.
We don't have a cable subscription.
Congratulations, happy anniversary. Anybody else have a birthday or anything in the middle of this? When was your birthday?
11.
The 11th? I don't even know what day it is. Are you kidding? Well, I don't know what day it is. Oh, okay.
Judge?
All right, happy birthday. Sorry.
Tom's about to have a birthday.
Yes.
Tom's about to have a birthday.
The end of the month.
Yeah.
Judge,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Judge,
We had our 50th anniversary.
Oh, congratulations. All right, real fast, stop. To what do you attribute 50 years?
Patience.
And you?
Alcohol.
Basically listening to what she has to say.
We had two people who got to spread their ashes of their family members.
Oh, who did that? Did you really? Where'd you spread the ashes? Come on, stand, talk to us.
My dad, 2 weeks prior to his passing on his deathbed, he was a smart-ass Jewish doctor, and my whole life was filled with a lot of smart-assness. So I said, Dad, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to take your ashes and we'll spread them in the Dead Sea. So from the other aspect is the fact that my father was a physician, and I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor, colon cancer. So my dad always wanted, in addition to his traditional medicine, he was a firm believer in homeopathy and traditional and spiritual. So he had that component, and even my acupuncturist, his name was Zach Goodman, who was a Jewish acupuncturist, and that was really cool. But I promised him, so it was really cool because I saw the Twitter feed, and that was, what did you guys put that out? October? The Twitter said Judge Jeanine. My dad was a loyal, yeah, it was October. My dad
You
followed
tweeted the promotion of.
He did?
Your dad called?
Oh, yes, he did. Yeah, he really enjoyed you. He really loved you. He's a big conservative. And I said, Judge Jeanine, I didn't even read what it was. I clicked on the link, went straight through, clicked it on. I didn't care. It was that purpose that brought me here to be able to spread his ashes in the world.
That's great.
There's someone else who spread ashes?
Yeah. Eddie.
Come on.
Eddie.
Come on, Eddie.
Can you talk?
I want to come up and stand up, I guess I could. I put my parents' ashes in envelope at the wall. Before that, at the Sea Gallery at the Mount, there was the Attitude Chapel there. And I miss my parents, love them dearly, and I just want to do something special for them that I love.
You did, Eddie, you did.
Yep.
Isn't it interesting that we recognize, even before we come here, that this is it?
Yeah.
This is where you want to end up. This is where it all matters. Jerusalem, Israel, the Holy Land. This is it. Anyway. Yes, hi, Olivia.
My mother, Annie, she passed away in July 2 years ago. And we were talking about bringing her ashes and putting them on the Mount of Olives, but we weren't sure about the logistics of it. But my parents named me after the Mount of Olives, and I've always loved the name because it's like the olive branch, a symbol of peace, and been like a peaceable person, you know. But it was a pleasure to be with you guys on this trip, to be with you, and my dad saw your tweet too. It was in October.
Yeah.
It signed right up.
Wow.
Yeah. Right too.
Here we are. Thank you guys.
Wow. So in addition to all of the individual meetings, you know, we have this historical moment within which to express our personal experience. Are you looking at me for a reason?
That wasn't the peace sign.
Yeah, I got it today in Netanyahu's office. Okay, yes. Hi, Larry.
If you leave the panel for a second, will justice ever be served to the deep state people that caused all this?
You know, Larry's question is a question that I got the other night in Jan Wilhelm Vanderhoven's house. And that is about the deep state, will there ever be justice? I don't know how to answer it, Larry. I really don't. I know, look, I was a DA. I was an elected DA. I was a local DA. To me, it was about truth, justice. You did wrong. I don't care who you are. That's the end of it. That's it. Apparently, it doesn't work that way in Washington. And apparently, you know, because he was an outsider, the Republicans and the Democrats have joined together against the outsider. No movement is easy, especially to the man who brings it on. And I think that, unfortunately, there's not going to be, unless he runs another 4 years, and then unless someone after him carries on that tradition. I fear for the illegals coming in and voting. I fear for, the president wanted to clean the voter registration rolls. Now, you're all nodding your head, and what that means is when people die, there's a federal law, every couple of years you have to sweep the rolls to make sure if you're dead, you're off, all right? Obama would never let anyone sweep those rolls. And a friend of mine, J. Christian Adams, if you watch my show, who was with the Department of Justice, brought some individual lawsuits and sued particular counties. And found out that there were some counties, I think somewhere in Virginia, although I'm not sure that that's correct, where they had more dead people on the rolls than they had people who were living. And, you know, so Trump comes in and he says, look, I'm going to put together this commission and we're going to check voter fraud and I want all your voter registration rolls. And the secretaries of state in virtually every state, if they were Democrats, would not hand the voter rolls over, so that now you can have an illegal vote in the name of a dead person. You can have one person vote in the name of 3 or 4 dead people. I mean, that's going to, I know, Larry, you look very perplexed. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take someone, but there's no one better than Donald Trump. If I were the Attorney General right now, Hillary Clinton, Jim Comey, Andrew McCabe, all of them would be in jail. I'm telling you right now. Wait, I'm not pitching for that. I'm just saying some people have a clear moral core that you see it for what it is. But I guess they don't. And I guess Jeff Sessions doesn't, you know. Huh? The new AG?
We need a new AG.
No, that's not what I said. I really mean it. I think we need new AG. Rosenstein needs to go here.
One last question, because then we got to do this other thing. You have a lot of Jews and Christians in here that truly believe in the power of prayer. What would you like them to pray for you about?
Oh, thank you. I mean, that's a very humbling question. I appreciate any prayers to continue to have the ability to say what it is I want to say and not have anyone try to stop me. To continue with my show. But I think the thing more than that, and my numbers are very good, and I thank you all for that. I just want to be safe. You know, and I've spent my life prosecuting people, putting them in jail. I mean, you know, I'm not very scared of anything. But there are a lot of people who hate me. A lot of people. And that's fine. I have 5 guns, so I can deal with
You're a very brave woman.
You're watching Judge
Some
Jeanine
amazing
Pirro
women
in
in
Jerusalem.
here. Olivia, would you stand up?
Truly amazing woman.
Wait till you hear this. Yeah.
Olivia has about 1,000 sport parachuting jumps, was one of the elite women in the world, the only woman, the first woman, to drive an ATV, a 4-wheel quad, out of the back of an airplane, very high in the air, land it while it's moving, and continue. She is an amazing lady, Olivia. This lady over here is a brave lady. But somebody that is equally, if not braver, is in the room. And this person left her homeland about 5 or 6 years ago, homeland of Denmark, and decided as a Christian that she needs to be in Israel praying for the state and for the Jewish people. And I have never seen anyone get hundreds of thousands of death threats because she goes up to the Temple Mount, and the Arabs don't like that. She recently fell, broke her leg, but Jerusalem Jane and her mom is in the corner back there. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a 15-minute break, and I know people have to go to the bathroom. Dan Gordon is here right from Gaza. When we convene, he's going to take the mic and brief us as to what happened. Then we'll open it up. And in those 15 minutes as you run to the bathroom and all of that, Anthony and Jeanine have to leave in about 15 minutes, so you can spend time with them, take pictures, whatever. Go to the bathroom, hang out, back in 15 minutes.
This guy brought me dinner. Is this for me?
For you, from me.
All right, you know what, John? Hopefully we'll connect on this stuff. I know what you want me to do with Donald. We'll see. That's a tough one.
You win the war quickly.
I know. I know. All right. I have a felt tip marker. I'm telling you.
I know. I tested it. Look, this is how it turned out. That's
Oh,
my
it
daughter's
does.
name, Jesse.
Okay.
That's my daughter's name, Jessee. So you can write to Jesse, but love Judge Jeanine or whatever.
Okay.
But it won't run. I'll blow on
Okay,
it,
good.
so you're fine.
To Jesse. If I could write it, it'd be good.
Oh, you're probably so tired. You guys look great today. So the camera panned a couple times, so you could see you the whole
What?
time.
You see
look
what?
pretty. You
Oh,
both look
thank
great.
you. Take care of yourself, baby. Thank you. Thanks for your pictures. I really
Take more later.
Yeah, thank you. Ah, you did it. Should I put Jeanine Pirro or Judge Jeanine? Yeah? Okay.
This is for my son, he's a fan of yours, so.
Yeah, tell him I said thank you. Thank you. I deserve it at this stage of my life. Don't you think? You know? No more of those little...
One second. She's talking to people right now.
Yeah. It is.
She's been asking me, and I felt very uncomfortable asking you, but
you know,
it's going to kill me if I don't.
No, it's
I want to talk to you right afterwards because I'm taken back to tears in this place.
I'm like so triggered because I feel
What is it? Is it Makeup Forever or is it MAC? I use
I want to get a picture of Jean and I want to tell you about it because it's much longer. It's much longer than a sentence that I
But
gave.
then for the studio,
Wait to hear the full story.
it's Makeup Forever. But Armani is on the street.
We're going to get in 1 second, people. Hold on. Just want to sit down 1 second.
Oh yeah, well, Jer, she knows. She knows.
Hi, Judy.
All right.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm Ari Fuld.
Hi.
In Israel, I do a little pinky of what you do. You try to fight, and I want to know from you, people watching, where does the strength come from? The hecklers, the leftists, the perversion of morality, the switching of every value that we have.
Yeah.
You're up there front and center, giving it in fire and brimstone.
Where's it come from?
Yeah, where does the strength come from?
My mother. That's easy. By the way, low battery.
Yeah, you know that. Imagine that. It's all good.
Yeah, it comes from my mother. Her name is Esther. She's a fighter, and she taught me to fight for the underdog.
Your name is Esther?
Yes. And she taught me to wash Mrs. Lebert's hair across the street because she couldn't lift her arms when I was like 6 or 7. And then I used to clean Mrs. Carbone's house, and I used to sweep somebody's porch.
Well, Esther was the hero who was really so.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. All right, people, I am signing off. Unbelievable, Judge Jeanine here. She's constantly fighting for truth against all odds. An amazing one. This whole group is amazing. It's just to see these people coming here and fighting, supporting, defending Israel. You want to say something? Nothing at all? Introduce you. I want to get Tom. Let me get Tom on for 1 second.
Have rallies.
Truly unbelievable. Excuse me? How are you? Tom. Tom, I got some people who want to talk to you.
What are you doing?
I got some people who want to talk to you.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
Okay,
Look at this thing, embassy.
Check that out. History in the making. Tom, where do you guys get the strength from? I mean, the whole world is Israel's this. You guys come here, full power, driving forward, standing strong. It's amazing. I know you are ready for a year now, right? We went last year.
Yeah. No, hey, it's very, very simple. If you believe in God and you read the Bible, you have a mandate to stand with Israel. That's simple. But if you like fighting bad guys, this is a good business to be in.
Amazing. Well, I want everyone to know out there, we have friends around the world. We have tremendous, amazing friends around the world. People who are constantly standing up for Israel and really protecting us. And it's heartwarming. It's just truly heartwarming. Okay, we're signing off. God bless everyone from the beautiful capital city of Israel, Jerusalem. God bless everyone. Take care.